life.
Welcome back, Shinners. Welcome back to the Shindig podcast, where we get under the skin of the UK trials community. Ooh, my name's Tom Hutley, and I'm here with...
I'm Matt Pengelly.
And we have got to be the biggest guest in trials, you know?
Arguably...
multiple...
Yeah, arguably one of the best riders in the world. That's a strong statement. I'm saying it. Come at me if you want.
It's Jack CARTHY.
It's Jack CARTHY! Yeah! Everyone's been waiting for this. Buddy, how you doing?
All right, you? How are you all doing?
Tom, how are you doing, mate? You're in you're in SA right now?
Yeah, loving life. I'm in South Africa right now. No bike, so, you know, I'm getting a bit of the lockdown blues here, so I need to come back onto the Shindig podcast and get my weekly dose of the Shindig.
And there's some withdrawals there too, I can imagine, with no bite there. But I'm doing well myself, Jack. Thanks for asking. We're staying safe during this crazy pandemic that's going on. But what about you, Jack? Where are you in the world right now?
Just at home where I've been for forever.
Sticking it out. Where's home for people that don't know? You've got a bit of a Yorkshireman's accent there.
Yeah, Yorkshire.
Up in Yorkshire. There's quite a bit of a strong crew up there. You're not the first Yorkshireman we've had, actually, I realise. We eased them in a little bit with Pratley.
Yeah, Pratley, yeah.
Just to get them started, because we've had a few people already say, like, oh, you're getting CARTHY on, he's a Yorkshireman, even the Southerners can't understand him.
It's true, yeah.
And if that's part of the problem, I can't imagine how some of the Europeans can hear you. Steve Rogers mentioned that earlier. He said
you have to just put an accent on for them, don't you?
Yeah. Like pretend to be well spoken sort of thing.
Yeah, you just put it on.
Well, mate, thanks so much for coming and chat with myself and Tom. Luckily we could get Tom back on today, because we've been missing you last week, mate, with you out in the sun.
Yeah. Well, not much sun anymore, but it's an absolute pleasure, really. So, Jack, let's dive straight into it. Me and Matt were kind of having this discussion. It was kind of like, well, for me, you're riding, you sort of just came out of nowhere, right? But like in terms of, I had a break from trials riding. I don't know, it was like 3 years, and it was like this. I remember I went to one of the comps, I think it was at Hook Woods, and someone said, "Oh, Jack's the guy I got to watch." And I was like, "What? Who is this monster? This guy? Where's he come from?" And because you didn't start that young, right? When did you start?
No, I started at like 10-year-old, something like that. I started at 10, but I didn't really know what trials were. At 10, and then I started competing, and within a year I was like British champion. and then I just like started. So I don't know really. I think I just had good people around me who got me really involved in it, and it was just something like I just soaked everything up like a sponge. I wasn't scared to ask how to do things, and then I'd go away and practice myself, and I always knew I was going to learn it because I had a lot of interest in it.
You just got stuck in right away.
And how did that actually look for you starting? Because obviously many people, when they start when they're younger, they have the entry-level kids trials bikes. What did you start on? How did you...
So I didn't know what trials were. I went to there were like a carnival in my village to raise money for charity or whatever. And someone on a stall was selling a bike for like £40, just an Onza, and I had no idea what this bike was. But because I'd messed about on my mountain bikes as kids, wheeling up and down the street, and because it were an Onza and it had a little seat on it, I was like, oh, I want that because it was different to all the other kids' bikes.
Yeah.
So I got that, and I had no idea what it was at all. And I remember it having like the bash plate underneath. And my dad were like, that's for like doing trials on. And then I was like, just try to...
You land on that?
Yeah, like I would just started trying to ride into stuff, try to get up walls and that. And then it just, people kept saying like, oh, you're quite good at that kind of thing. Because I was just like a bog standard kid down the road. And then there were like a local shop, what I didn't know about, and then someone told me about it, and it was full of trials bikes, and that's basically how it got going. Because then I bumped into a guy called Wayne Hommett, and as soon as I bumped into him, it just started then. Because I was so shy as well. I couldn't even speak to him. I couldn't speak to him at all. My mum, because I was only 10, she spoke to Wayne and like got me in with their clique kind of thing.
Yeah, because that young, it's hard to have a voice, isn't it? So you've kind of got your parents to really push that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 10-year-old, struggled at school, so shy, had no confidence about anything, because I just felt like a dummy kind of thing, you know, like at school and stuff. And then I used to meet Wayne in the local town like every night, because he was like a top elite rider at the time. And then every night I used to meet him, and I'd ride. So I'd finish school at like 3.
Yeah.
I'd go straight out of my house and go ride around my village for like 2 or 3 hours until he finished work. And then he'd finish work. My mum and dad would drive me down to the town, and I'd ride the town for like until it got dark, and then they'd come back and pick me up.
Wow. Even from that age, you had your parents supporting you, being like, right, ride every day, get out there.
Yeah, because they knew I were like, they knew I'd found something what were good for me, you know.
Yeah.
Because I was getting into trouble and stuff at school and stuff like that, and the straight away I was just hooked on trials.
Bit of a turning point for like some direction in your life then, to some.
Yeah, just completely changed. Yeah. Literally within like 6 months, my life just completely changed, kind of thing. Nothing going on. I did football, stopped doing that. Did every sport you can imagine, and And
this one just clicked, obviously, for you.
Yeah, straight away I just clicked and wanted to do it, kind of thing. And then it just progressed from there, and then just kept going. Yeah, and I'm here now. That's how quick.
Yeah, mate. I tell you what. So 10 years old. I mean, that's a long time. How old are you now, Jack? For the listeners,
24.
24 years old. So
24.
For people who haven't done their maths, then I just slowly had to go, what, 14 years?
I'm sort of listening to this. I'm thinking this is exactly how I got into trials, because it's probably about the same sort of time as well, right? Because was it an Onza T-Bird that was at this carnival, Jack?
Yeah, Onza T-Bird, yeah.
So we had this Onza T-Bird that was like, oh my God, it was like the village, like the local bike, because it had been round, like everyone had it. And my mate bought it for like a tenner off someone. Really old, shagged Onza T-Bird with like the bash plate and the seat being ripped out. And everyone just jumped on it. I was like, what is this bike? Let's do wheelies off of stuff. And was like,
Right, because it's so lightweight, no one can really make sense of it, which is kind of weird, because you're just kind of like, hey, what is this? Like, how do I mean, that's, I don't know. I think anyone who gets into trials and go like, what the F is it? It's more so not like...
Yeah, basically. I remember I had this square, the square T-Bird, the blue and silver.
Oh, I do remember that. There's still some out there.
Yeah, I had one of them.
And to think, so that was your first bike, was an Onza. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then sort of fast forward now, obviously skipping, how many years was it until at that point, because Onza actually sponsored you? Was that your first sponsor? When?
Yes.
At what point did it tip to being like, oh, actually, I'm getting some support here from real brands?
So I rode the Onza bike for a while, and then my parents bought me an Onza T-Mag. Remember the ones with the big, like, massive forks on it?
Yeah, but is that this? Yeah. Is it the T-Mag with the silver one, or is it like? Didn't they do like a fluorescent coloured one? Or
is that a yellow one that had like
a chrome?
Yeah, like a chrome one. That was like what
one that Matt Staples
video that's on. I put on YouTube to try and get famous years ago.
Yeah, so I had one of them, and I wanted all gold wheels on it and that. So my parents put all gold wheels on it, and then so I went from there, and then my parents bought me like. I had a Cox, the Marco Hosels.
Oh wow, that's proper old school, mate.
Yeah, I had one of them.
A picture up on that.
Yeah, I had one of them Monty 221 Ti. Like they kept buying me bikes because I was so passionate about it, and everything I got, I just like broke everything. So they just kept buying me bikes basically, and then Onza and the local bike shop did a joint deal together. they had to buy the parts and they'd give the frames or something like that.
Nice, yeah.
So I started off like that. So I was getting a bike given from age of about 11, 12 or something like that. I was getting bikes given, and then so I rode for Honda until I was like 14. Kept riding their bikes, and then I wanted to move to 26. Then, so I was 14, and I'd had enough of 20-inch kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
that was the progression, because I know that's not for everyone, but you within yourself, did you feel you're like, hey, I know I can go bigger and better?
Yeah. So about 2 years before I went to 26, some guy, Ross Clayton, he gave me an Echo Control 26-inch frame.
Yeah.
And we had all the parts for it lying around in the house, so we built it. And as soon as I rode that bike, I knew I could already ride 26. Like, some people can't ride 26, can they?
I put my hand up for that, mate. I'll get on a 26 and it's just, and I don't know, there's too much beneath me. It just doesn't make sense too much.
I'm not grown up yet to be a 26 rider, you know. I feel like I've got to be an adult, you know, a lot. Massive.
As soon as I got on this bike, I was like riding it just like a 26-inch rider, like tapping on it and everything. Because I rode my 20-inch like a 26-inch rider anyway.
You always look too big on a 20 anyway. I always felt that. I mean, I didn't really know you back then at that point, but if you go back and look at some of Jack's older videos, they are still out there. They do still exist. You watch him on a 20, he's still just as impressive, but you do sort of look too big for it in that manner. But you were owning it, mate. One video comes to mind. I think it was Leeds, and you're on the old Limey, the green and white one.
Yeah.
And it's like, first time I think I saw someone doing like Frenchies and stuff, and it was just like, what? Who's this guy on that Onza? That's mint.
Yeah.
We'll try and get that sort of clip. But before we go, what was your favourite mod? That's what I wanted to find out. What was your favourite 20 that you had?
It was probably the I only ever rode really Onzas, so when I got decent, and the last Onza was the Onza, what the 20-inch what's out now. I had the prototype to it.
It was, I think you're referring to is it the Genesis?
The Genesis.
Yeah, because I had that exact frame. You gave it to Clayton after you had it, and I bought it off Ross Clayton. And then when I rode it for like a year, I improved my riding like exponentially. I don't know what it was. It's just that particular frame. Maybe it's because I thought, oh, it's Jack Carthy's ridden it. I can do this.
Yeah.
But
that was the frame.
Yeah, so they're still out there, and Onza now, sadly, not a thing.
Yeah. But the only reason in the beginning I left Onza was because one thing what's quite different from me to other people is we were never interested in sponsors. My parents didn't want me to get a sponsor because they didn't want me to be like tied to people. At the time, the deals weren't big enough to be tied to.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah. So you'll miss out on everything else if you're exclusive to that one thing. Yeah.
So like Joe Onza said to me like, "Oh, we'd rather you stay on 20-inch." Well, I was like, definitely not.
Yeah.
Like I definitely don't want that. So that like about two weeks later, James Island was selling an old neon bow.
Oh, I remember those.
26-inch. Yeah. He was selling one of them. My dad was like, "We'll buy it now. We'll have it." And then I had that. And then I think I made like a little video or something, and I was riding it. And then Cox came straight in and offered me a deal.
Oh, so it was from a video. They watched it, and they like headhunted you out, going.
Yeah, and I were already dealing with like tarty bikes and stuff anyway.
Yeah.
I were already dealing with tarty bikes, and I think it was like a joint deal with tarty bikes at the time. So tarty bikes, because tarty bikes had just took over the dealership for Cox UK.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a deal. I remember going over at tarty bikes and picking two of the Cox Skies up, two new ones.
Yeah.
I remember going over and I had a deal for them, and then I kept going like that. Yeah.
I mean, if it's a win-win, if you're already riding for someone that's distributing that particular brand, they could be like, "Oh, well, he's part of your team. Can we, provide him with?"
Yeah, there was some sort of deal with it. I don't know I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember straight away, like it was like a yes straight away. a year deal. So, but yeah, it were good. It were good at time. Like, it were quite mind blowing for me. So I'm just like, at the time I was 14-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, that's
incredible as well, though, to be able to like not turn down the Under one, but kind of see, well, no, there could be more progression. Because many people would just see that first deal and just think, go for it, it's free.
Yeah.
No.
And when you're younger, the word itself has just this completely different meaning. Oh, I'm sponsored. You could be getting absolutely nothing from that company or anything, but you're just like, by the way, I'm sponsored. It's just like back then, it was just a thing. You just
so many. Even when I remember that, like, I would never like everyone were bothered about getting sponsored. I was never interested in any of that. All I were interested in were getting better.
That's getting good on your bike and really enjoying it.
That were it. I didn't care. My parents were like, why are you bothered about getting a t-shirt? Like, people, like, so many, like, we had a big group around here.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'm sponsored. Like, I'm getting a t-shirt. I was like, good. It's good, but I'm more interested in being, I'd rather be the part instead of look the part. Do you know? I'm like that with everything. You know, I want to be the part.
Matt, this is an intervention, and Jack's telling us, like, you know, just because we got a t-shirt, we're not.
Yeah, he's like, hey, stop making merch and ride your bikes, boys.
Yeah, like for me, I'm not meaning it like in a negative.
Yeah, no, we totally get it. Yeah.
I was just always interested in trying to be the best I could be, not thinking how good I could look.
And what you could gain from it.
Yeah, that's why I was never interested in doing videos too much. For years, I never did any videos. People used to do them, like local lads used to do them for me because I didn't know how to do them.
That's what Tom, you go on, touch base on that.
Because Matt was saying that you don't even have a trials.
You don't have a trials forum account.
No, I've never had.
So one of the biggest, most impactful trials riders in the scene, in the world. Again, come at me if you want. And he doesn't have trials forum. That was the heart of the community, mate. So how did you get around that? I mean, how did you stay in touch with everybody?
Up until social media came about, I didn't stay in touch with anyone. I didn't get in touch with anyone. I only rode with local lads. They used to just ring me, or, hey, I'm riding. And to be honest, my house in the village was like the hub. Everyone came to my house. Everyone. So, like, if Ross were riding, he probably wouldn't even ring me. He'd just turn up at house and have tea at my house, and then we'd go riding. It was like that all the time.
Yeah.
And then my dad, if we were going to ride natural or something like that, he'd just stick like back then. It's like we never really realised at the time, but it's like proper illegal. But we used to just stick everyone in. Like, my dad had like a 2-seater van, like a Berlingo van.
Oh, yeah.
And there'd be like 10 lads in it going up to like Shipley Glen.
Yeah, right, lads, fill up the van. As long as your bikes all fit in, we're fine.
Yeah, we just all like, that's literally how it was. And if the video got made, everything got posted through Ross.
I did find, I didn't do too much digging, but a little bit earlier, the very first, I think, video of you that went on Trials Forum was posted by Joe Poyser to say, Jack's not even on here, but you guys need to watch this video. And it's still on YouTube, I believe, on the video 2 or something. Old school.
It could be, I'm not sure.
But that's the first kind of, you know, if you type your name and you see anything that comes up in terms of media. And that's a video that I think Joe had made, or someone made for you, and somebody else posting it. Same with like Alex from Trial and Error. He did a lot of your videos too, didn't he?
Yeah.
So,
but it's like even them videos though. There wasn't, you know, how people like get in their head, right? I'm going to do a new video. I'm going to go do it. That like Alex's video, that was just filmed on general riding. Like, we'd go out and we'd have a ride, and Alex would get bored after about a couple of hours of riding. He'd pull the camera out, film a little bit, and then next ride he'd do a bit more. And that's how all them videos were made.
Just totally organic on the day. Like, we'll just take a camera with us.
Yeah. Every video I've ever done was like that, to be honest. I've never actually gone and said, right, let's go do this edit. Do you know, I've never gone and done anything like that.
I think sometimes you think about it too much, you'd never really get to that point.
I've never even been anything really. Social media, you kind of have to do it nowadays, don't you? I I was never into it.
Yeah, you can't
Never.
beat them. Yeah, you've got to join them.
Yeah, for sure. But like up until like 16-year-old, I probably didn't even have Facebook. Didn't have all. Not bothered about all.
It's fine. I know other riders and plenty of riders who haven't made their own personal impact online. Thankfully, they've been surrounded by others that do that for them.
Yeah.
So that was the like original like making era of Jack Carthy. Now we've got like a lot of older listeners coming back to us, worldwide reach now somehow. Don't know how it's happened.
Yeah, thank you everyone if you're listening outside of the UK. Really appreciate your support.
Where are you at now, Jack? Just for the listeners' sake, because to us, to most of the UK trials riders, of course, you are, the world champion of many times, several times. Do you want to just tell us about kind of, where you are now and what your accolades of the sport are?
I'm in my eyes, I'm still the same as it. Like, I don't really see myself as this person. Like, I don't like people like the way you say it. Like, then like makes hair stand on my back kind of thing. But like, it's weird to me. It's like I'm just like a normal person. Like, I just live my day-to-day life. But I go out riding every day, and I just live. It's just the same as everyone else, I suppose.
And how do you actually, for someone who has ridden for quite some time and reached almost top of the top essentially, how do you actually stay motivated to do that? Because it is hard, right? It's still tough.
It's a different. You've got to learn to change your way. You've got to learn to change your ways because you can't be motivated for the things you were motivated before you had them. So like before I ever won a world title, I was motivated to be a world champion, and then I was motivated to just improve, and then I was motivated to just keep winning, and then you get to like a certain amount of success at that. You have to change your ways and say like I'm doing this for myself now. I don't do it for them things, so I do it like as a different. I'm a completely different person to when before I'd won. And to be honest, I enjoy it a lot more now because I do a lot. It's a lot more because I love it. I realize
having more fun with it rather than putting the pressure of trying to achieve a certain goal
and I used to give myself such a hard time, like because I generally wanted more out of myself than I could give, and like sometimes I thought like now when I think back, I think you were hard on yourself just because I wanted to be. Just wanted to get better and better, and I've learned like now by enjoying it, I actually improve more now than back then, and I love the sport more now than I ever have, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I couldn't also relate to that more. It's strange how I've been, and Tom, I'm sure you can relate. Like we've been doing it for so long, but quite recently there is a little spark that's gone off again where I'm having more fun with it than I was. It was like maybe not quite 10 years ago, or maybe we're talking about 6-7 years ago, doing competitions. Definitely was not having as much fun as I'm having now. And it's winter and it's that kind of thing. So I think that's a really, really important point, very good point, especially from you to be so looking at it in a certain and different light as to why you're actually riding, sort of thing. Yeah,
so I'm strange with it now. Like if I one day woke up and I really didn't like it anymore, I'd stop. I've got to that point now where like if I didn't enjoy it, I'd stop now.
You wouldn't do it just for the sake of it.
No, definitely not. I see so many riders who are like that, and I definitely don't want to be like that. I want to leave when I'll probably leave before I get to that. Because I don't want to be one of them people who stays forever and then leaves on almost bad terms with it.
Yeah.
But this sport changed my life completely, to be honest. But I don't know what I'd be doing without it. But
I'm sure Tom's the same. Part of me keeps me sane, like doing these types of things too. It's a very niche thing, and it takes a certain character to be able to relate to it and kind of get on with it.
It's
definitely.
we were sort of discussing before we came on, and we also go into this with a lot of riders that we have on, because everyone's different in the trials world, and mainly within jobs and professions. Like Jason Lake is a tattooist, and I'm a taxi driver. I don't know what Matt does, but what do you do, Jack? 'Cause, I mean, are you just professional trials rider then? Is that
so? When I left school at 15-year-old, and I just rode my bike ever since. I've never actually had a job.
That's awesome.
It's the dream. That is the effing dream, right?
Yeah. So
I mean, the only thing that will come up in my mind, because some people say, "Oh, it must be hard to have your hobby as a job," or vice versa. I mean, is there any conflict there? How have you overcome that?
Oh, easy. You learn. I don't know anything else. I don't know anything else anyway. But
stick to what you're good at. I have.
But I always look at. So it's my hobby, but I'm dedicated to my hobby. I don't look at it as a job. It's always been like a hobby in my eyes.
Lifestyle.
But I do work hard at it. Like, people don't probably see that, but I do work mentally hard at it. Like, I dare say I'm probably one of the hardest working trials riders there've ever been.
I would like to think that it shows, though. You don't get to where you are unless you work hard.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I'd like to think that it does show. And you said earlier, you're riding. Are you riding every day? Is that something that you need to do
every day
to keep?
Yeah.
To keep your form.
It's my hobby, but I treat it as a job as well. And I'm always like riding every day, but like not messing. I always training every day. I generally want to improve and improve and improve, and I know the only way to improve is by working hard at it. So I've just always had that mindset, and I've just always done it ever since I left school. I've never played at it. I've always worked hard to get to where I've got.
Are there certain things that you, as obviously it is your job, it is your career, are there certain things that you need to achieve from, say, your sponsors are saying, look, we expect this? Is there an expectation to meet? This is my sort of the next thing, or is it
like winning? You mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, I would say we need you to get at least 3 wins a year. Or is there anything like that? It's something I was interested in. I don't know if anyone's ever asked that.
There's no contracts. I don't have any contracts with winning. You have to win so many or anything like that. But I don't. To be honest, it's like even like all my contracts are quite chilled out. To be honest, but I think all the people who back me know how like Chris Krugers. He sends me emails to rest. He don't send me emails to ride, because he's like, you're gonna burn yourself out. I can train like 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, especially through summer.
Yeah,
I could kill myself. You
go too hard, and then that would be your career over, sort of thing.
Yeah, he's like, take it easy.
That's good. I mean, they want to look after their riders. That is important.
Yeah. He tells me to rest, not to ride. Especially now, this time of year, he's like, put it away for however long. You don't need to ride.
It's cold. Come on, just do workout. Yeah. Get in the gym. Just do a bit of workout from home.
And even this year, last year, even that I knew there were no competitions, I still made sure I was like in shape, because I didn't want to waste 1 year of going back. So I trained as if I was going to compete.
And there was like zero pressure at that point.
Yeah, zero pressure, but I just do it for myself. Do it to make sure the year after I'm even better. If I'd have took a year out, and like a lot of riders probably did, then I'm only catching up to where I could be.
Undo everything you've just been putting your feet on.
Even say you stay the same. Even say you don't improve like 2020. Say you stay the same level all 2020. That means I've lost a year of improvement.
Yeah, that's another great way of looking at it. I see. Actually, you're right.
I'm not interested in that. I just want to improve and improve.
Like, if you miss a day of not riding, you're like, oh, that's actually a day I've missed of improving and getting better.
Yeah, that's kind of thing. Yeah. So that's why, like, through 2020, I still rode and like trained as if I was competing.
Yeah, you don't want to. You can't lose your touch there. You know.
No,
it'd be very hard.
That's why like I do. That's why like you get a lot of in sports. You see a lot of people that do well for 2 or 3 years, and then you don't hear out of them because they can work hard for 2 or 3 years, and then they can't handle. They can't keep going. They get mentally like tired of it.
Yeah,
that's like one of my biggest advantages. I don't get tired of it because it's like a hobby to me. It's not. I don't look at it as a job. I don't look at it as effort. It's just like part of my life.
Like a full-on lifestyle, you know.
Yeah.
That
like Charlotte, Charlotte, she thinks I'm nuts.
Yeah. To be fair, I think a lot of trials riders' partners are very much thinking the same thing. It's such a weird sport. I mean, Tom, you know, you have a girlfriend. Perhaps you can relate there, but.
Well, I think to be at the top, for anyone to be at the top of their game, and I'm thinking of like other world-class athletes who are big in tennis, basketball, whatever, I think you've got to be, her words are obviously saying that you're not quite right, but obviously you're just wired differently. You know, you're more wired to, you know, your sport or your interest.
Yeah,
I think you've got to have that laser focus, otherwise you don't become the world's best.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, I'm like one of them, like if I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll go running in the middle of the night. That's what I'm like.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, that sort of leans into what I was going to ask. What's your kind of routine in terms of off the bike when it comes to staying fit and getting strength? Are you doing a lot of weights? Are you doing a lot of training as well?
I don't do loads and loads of it, but I do a bit of it. Yeah, I do a bit of everything.
What does that sort of look like? Are you doing a bit of cardio, like you said? You go for a run and maybe you'll do an hour of some weights. What sort of a general idea?
Just random, really. Yeah. It's just a bit of everything. I don't really like some people are really into gym, aren't they? But I'm not really really into gym. I'm not really into thingy. I just do a bit of everything, you know.
Well, there's a level there because it's my point being like if you work too hard on your muscles and getting bigger, it weighs more than fat and all that. So
yeah.
Are you making it harder for yourself the bigger you become? So this is with trials. You've got to be this sort of. What do I say? Like sort of perfect size or like weight?
Yeah, but you see Power Pete. Like, there's an exception. Like, I don't know if anyone's seen Power Pete at Bike Trial Academy.
Yeah, no, that's my point.
Flew up like stuff, and he's massive. Yeah. Just falls up stuff.
The problem is with like being massive is you're good for one move.
Yeah, that's probably it is.
Yeah, in terms of endurance. So to actually do a competition. You know, it's that little bit harder.
It depends. Some people work better when they're heavy. Some people work. It depends what works for you. You know, some people are naturally bigger than others.
Yeah, and I think some riders achieve certain moves or destinations purely on either power or technique. So you've got riders who are really good at power and they can get up they're up the wall, no problem. Right, and he's like, but he's actually got zero technique. He's just gone bang. Then there's like other riders who are small, maybe not very strong, and they'll do the same height as that person, and it's all technique.
Yeah.
So it's sort of having a bit of both. Obviously, then
What I try to work for is perfect technique and decent power. That's what I try to work towards.
Yeah, I'd like to think
perfect. You're on for a win, aren't you?
Because, you know, obviously too much power can overcome accuracy sort of thing, or you lose the accuracy perhaps. So getting that kind of perfect balance, it's a hard thing to do, I would say, you know.
Precision, what's that saying? Precision beats speed.
Yes.
And speed beats power.
Yeah.
Like a saying, isn't there? And it's
I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm going to have to find out what it is, but it's definitely along the trials world because, you know, we're all a bit weird that ride trials, let's be honest. Anyone that rides a trials bike, it's good. We've all got something a little bit loose.
Yeah, it's true, yeah. Everyone does everything their own way. It's just a lot of people copy each other, and that's probably the worst thing you can do because what works for you might not work for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you started that trend. Tom might want to ask you about the trend of we called The first time it came out, we called it cow horns or bull horns when you had your bars. Like, you know, that was a new thing. People were like, the hell? And I remember seeing you at some extreme thinking, why is that? But that was a full-on trend from then on. That was like a technique. It started to become a thing. Tom, you delved deep into that world too, didn't you? You were like, hang on, I'm going to get CARTHY bars instead now.
I just see it as kind of like pogo stick. It's just like I can just hop on the back wheel, and it's like this is easy. I haven't got the other benefit. I haven't got the other benefits like gap into front or whatever. I can't do any of that shit. Like, so I just done it because everyone else done it, you know.
But there is a little bit of a trend I find with trials going, that's what they've got, that's what I need.
Yeah, loads of people do it.
But what you've just said, I totally agree with it. It isn't quite the case all the time.
No.
Go and look at old riders, go and look at old moves. They were still getting up walls just as big, but they had to use a tap instead, or, you know, and so forth.
It's like me now. I don't even use the handlebars really forward. No.
Yeah. Now you don't, because you've kind of got to that point where you know, and it is turned into its kind of own style a little bit to some extent. You can see it. It's so being able to reach those bigger points, further points, and who's to think, can trials get any bigger? Can anyone get any better? We were just
with that in mind. What do you think, Jack, is the future of trials in both the sport and, let's say, the bikes? Like maybe technique. I mean, when Charlie's been messing around in his bar and he's doing stuff with his gap into front and just taking his front wheel off like a MotoGP. No, it's not his front wheel. Sorry, his front leg off to balance, almost like a MotoGP rider. Is there going to be other weird techniques like that? What's happening?
I don't think the stuff will change too much now. I don't think the spot, like the techniques, will change that much, because I think I don't think we're anywhere near the limit, to be honest. I don't think so. Like, there's certain things I could do more of to jump bigger and jump higher or whatever. But I don't do them because the World Cups aren't even set at that level. So there's no point me killing myself like that way.
Yeah.
For what?
Just to prove yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why break myself in half kind of thing, try to jump higher when we don't even get the limits now?
Yeah, and
that's just anyone who's ever been to a World Cup and seen the obstacles. I'm just like limits. Like, you're talking about, there's stuff there that's like above, like well above me. I'm looking, okay, yeah.
But like, come on, it's like, seriously, guys, are they going to give me something that's going to really make me try a bit harder?
I've got to say, I mean, if the World Cups are on this year, if travel does come again, I mean, myself and Matt are going to come and spectate again, because it is such a spectacle.
We'll be doing our own commentary as well, I'm sure.
I encourage everyone else to do the same, because it is just bananas. It's just ridiculous just how big this stuff is. But Jack doesn't seem to think so.
Yeah,
no, it's big. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not big.
No, it's just casual.
In terms of
it's not like the limit anymore. It's like years ago when when Gilles were like the best. When Gilles were like,
I do, yeah. Before Jack was around, there was another rider. Yeah.
So when Gilles were like leading the way, I remember all the courses were set to like Gilles's level. They were too hard for me at the time. You just had to put up and shut up and try. And they were so hard. They were built to the best rider, because Gilles could jump higher than everyone else back then.
Yeah.
And they were set to his level. It were only Gilles who could complete the side ops in the sections. You know, remember the one in Preloop? It was massive. And it were only him who could do it. Whereas now, they don't build the course for the best rider. They build the course for the majority.
Yeah.
Because they don't want... So they're not building the level that high compared. Because if we were going to build maximum stuff, let's chuck some like 65-inch side ops in and some like 2-meter hooks. But they don't. They're always like 1.80 m.
Well, that's it. Well, the problem with that, get to that point, you're like, well, we're going to watch one person do that move. That's great for the spectators, and everyone else is going to dab it. Well, that's not fun to watch. So it does make sense. Yeah.
So they build more for majority now, which is good. It's good one way, but it's bad for progression of the sport. because it makes everyone like think, well, I don't need to get any bigger. I don't need to go higher. We just need to get perfect at this level.
I wonder if it's sort of reevaluating in those terms to have, you've got different classes being expert, elite, etc., but do you need classes within that as well? You know, it's
I don't know.
This as you quite the experienced competition rider. What are your thoughts on these new rules and the progression and how it's changed? Give us a little bit on the new rules.
For me, one way they're good, aren't they? One way it's like, well, you don't get the points other than that. But then if you start using your brain, you start thinking, well, if I dab over that bit, and I can, if I be fast over the hard bit and take a 1 and don't get up for that, I can get over the easy bits and get the points that way. But the bit what I disagree with is like there's only ever going to be 6, because the most you can get in a section is 60. So there's only ever going to be 6 gates. Well, for me, you should be able to go for, for example, if I'm getting out with 30 seconds spare and everyone else is getting out with 1 second spare, but we're still getting the same score, that's not right.
Yeah, so giving riders the opportunity to either really push themselves and go, I can do more. Or even the other route where they say, actually, I'm not going to make that. I'm going to take 1 less gate and then skip
I'm going to take one less.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be safe. So, really, we should be able to get, I train 10, 12 moves in a section at home. So, if you put 12 obstacles there and you can get 120 points, most people won't do it. I get that. But there's an opportunity for the best riders to get more points to win.
Yeah, you're being capped already. You're like, you've got a match, you can't get any more points. That's it, sort of thing. And you're like, but what if I could? I love the idea of having gates that were certain points. So similar to what you were saying, being able to get more points. But then, for example, people in the lower classes, there are some lines I can do in elite. I just look at them and go, I can do that. Then there are some lines I'll do better in expert. So it's like the rider within themselves could then go, right, I'm going to get 20 points in this gate because it's elite. I'm going to get a certain amount of points in this one because it's expert. And that way the points are so unique because it's then unique to that rider as well.
Yeah. I like that. But like UCI, they only have one class and you have to go that way.
Yeah.
But the problem is like when you do it, and if you do it easy, you should be able to go around again or add some more moves in or whatever.
Yeah. Well, a time bonus. If you've got there and you've still got 30 seconds left, that's like
or not even that. Just chuck another 2-3 obstacles in. We're probably like my dad says it. My dad says it this way. Yeah. He says you should never get to end of a section now. With the way them rules are, they should build them sections so they're impossible to get to the end, and you go and get as many as you can.
That's really
it's actually a really good point your dad sort of made there. Yeah, because then at least at that point you're more seeing how far that rider gets, not like he's done it. Because then it's like 5 ticks. You actually see who was the better rider in that section.
Yeah. So there should be 5 sections, and you physically can't finish any of them. You've got to push like mad to get as far as you can.
Because then, I do like that idea, Jack. I do.
We call the new format, me and my dad, we call it the old man format. It's like an old man. So it's basically, we call it the old man thing. There's no fitness involved in it. You do 5 obstacles and you move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Rather
than seeing how far you could potentially go.
Yeah. So I'm capable of doing 15 obstacles, but I do 6. It's almost level. This is where I'm trying to say by level wise.
Yeah.
I train harder at home than at the competition.
Doing bigger moves in your spare time than when it comes to the real thing that you're training for.
Yeah. Basically.
It almost reminds me of Ninja Warrior or something, because obviously they're designed for the average Joe public for them not to get to the end in this same sort of thing. But it needs to have an upper level that you can't physically get to the end, and that's the challenge of it. And
it's as simple as just more gates, as Jack was saying, right? It could be as simple as that. Effort. Or they do it this way, going, well, actually, this is the time frame you've got. See if you can go there and back. And it's like, you'll never do that. They say it because no one is ever going to come back. But at least it gives the rider the opportunity to be like, oh shit, I've got to the end of it. Now that I've got all this time, let's see how much further I can go back.
Or even do it where you go like 1 to 6, and then when you get to 6, the end gate's always next to the start gate anyway. 9 out of 10 times, you do if you've still got energy, do another lap of it.
Do another lap, yeah. No, it's a brilliant.
Why not?
There's more ideas there for the UCI world. I don't know if any of them listen to us, but let's hope that maybe give them some ideas.
They won't do it though, because it's like it just makes it easier for the best riders to win. And they don't like that. They like change. They like different riders winning week in, week out. They don't like the same winners. And that's top and bottom of it.
That's why it's a sore subject in some ways, but I've always felt like they were out to get you, Jack. I'll say that personally. I've seen a few comps, and you do your thing, and you're coming up top. But there was always some kind of atmosphere where people are watching you in a different light to anybody else, which I felt was a little bit unfair personally. This is my own personal view, everyone, just so they... But bit of a Hawkeye. Do you know what I mean? They're like, you really watch. You have to watch Jack so closely because they want to catch you out.
Yeah, they don't like... If you win like 3 events on the trot, they don't like that.
Yeah. Right.
It's like that in like years and years of World Cups going on. The rules were the same for 20 years.
Yeah.
I start winning nearly every event. Rules get changed year after year. And it's the same with everything. It's the same with all sports. When you start winning regular away,
they'll introduce restrictions on the cars or whatever because someone wins.
It's like 2 laps. It's like 2 laps of competition. Like it's 1 lap now.
Mm.
You get a punchy, you're out. But before, when it used to be 2 laps, I used to almost win by the first lap.
Yeah.
So the first time I came world champion, there were 2 laps of 6 sections, I think it was, and I'd already won it in the first 6 sections. The year after, the rules changed.
Right, there you go.
Because they don't like to make it easy to win. They want it where it's like neck and neck all the way to the end, not knowing who's going to win, and then something happens like what happened in China, and then someone else wins. Yeah. They like
when
that.
There's an opportunity to potentially penalise that moment or switch it on its head, they'll do it.
Yeah, 100%. Because they don't like the same winners.
I mean, that's it. There's always someone best in the world, and if that's the case and that's the level of the riding, that's just how it is. Do you know how many in total then competitions you might have won? And I mean like overall, we're talking like British nationals, like the world. I mean, do you have a rough number anywhere it could be?
I don't have a clue, to be honest.
Must have tried to work it out.
I don't know individual competitions, but I could probably work out like titles.
Yeah, because we've already been British, 4 or 5 times now?
What British? What
the British? Sorry, you've got there's the British nationals. You've got European championships, the World Championships. I want to say you've come top on each of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in every one. It's like, hang on, are there any competitions that you haven't done? That would be a better question.
I've never actually been a BIU world champion.
I mean, that's not really, in our day and age, it's a bit of a questionable title to have, isn't it?
To be honest, I like after this year, and the UCI went to 1 lap and stuff. I actually like BIU. It's 2 laps, 2 laps of 10 sections. That's like a proper competition.
Well, do you feel that you might jump into some BIU?
You heard it here, folks.
I wouldn't jump. I wouldn't jump in. I don't think, because people just don't seem to respect it too much, do they?
That's what's sad. It's like it's not socially accepted, really, within trials. You scream it. You go to you land on Bash and people scream, BIU. Kind of.
It's true.
It's looked in quite a negative light, but it is an important discipline of it, because it's like more aimed at the kids, I think, isn't it? Or more aimed at a younger generation.
Yeah, but the competition seem to be well. When I see stuff, it seems to look all right now. It's a lot better than it used to be. But I don't know. I don't know what it's like. I haven't been, so I can't comment.
Yeah.
But
well, Tom, maybe we should go for that then. Jack's actually said that it's cool now, right? You heard it here. He said it's okay.
It's fine.
I don't know how good it is, but
yeah,
it seems to be. For me, it seems to be the bit what I like about it more than all is they seem to be more for the riders.
Right. Yeah.
Like UCI is getting more for media. Like the World Championship, they were painting the obstacles 10 minutes before the event started, so the paint was still wet.
That's why if they want media and all that kind of style, UCI need to look at doing it as more of a show, just like the London Bike Trials. That gets you media, that gets you out, rather than sort of that competition route. I think that's more impactful. Like, you've done most of the battles there, come down to London and performed in those big shows.
Yeah.
And they have a serious impact in terms of media and on the sport. And it's easier, I think, for the audience to relate to it. Rather than competitions can be pretty difficult because someone who doesn't know how a comp works, they can come and watch a rider, but it doesn't make much sense, really. A lot of it. It's quite hard to understand.
Yeah.
So tying up loose ends, I mean, we've been going for quite a while now, but we've got a few quick fire questions.
I was going to say, do you want to do the quick fire, Tom?
Who listens? Well, before we do the quick fire,
pressure's on.
We've got to address the name of the podcast, and of course, we are called the Shindig Podcast.
Of course,
Jack, what was your worst shindig, or your last shindig, even?
To be honest, touch wood, I hadn't had a shindig for about 5-6 years.
Touch wood, mate. You said it now.
I had a shindig for so long, touch wood.
Yeah.
And but I remember when I was younger, I used to get so many shindigs.
It was such a common thing when you were learning, I'd feel.
Yeah, it just used to come round and belt me as hard as it could on Shin. It was ruthless, to be honest, at the time.
Were you a shin pad wearer back then?
No way.
Yes, thank God.
I never wore shin pads. I remember my dad saying to me, "You need to start wearing them. Your shins are right." Well, I'd rather have a right mess of shins than wear them. I remember at the time there were all them 661 shin guards, whatever.
Oh, I know. And they were proper thick as well, weren't they? Yeah. Big plated things.
You might as well have just brought a mattress and wrapped them around you.
I just remember being so annoyed because I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have tan lines on my legs."
No, I never wore them. Never.
Oh, good, man. That's I know there are people that wear them out there for good reason, and I understand that. But I think once you've gone through one or two bad shinners, you're sort of ready for the.
Yeah, you get quicker, don't you, getting away from them?
Yeah, and you sort of know, and your body itself jumps away from the bike more, and.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you do learn to get away from them a bit more.
Okay, so quick fire round then. You might have to help me out with the questions here, Matt. Okay, so Jack, your most ideal riding spot, if you go ride any one place, where would it be?
It's got to be Shipperburn on it.
Yeah,
I literally go there.
Still need to go there. Never been.
Yeah, never been.
Have you never been?
Nah, it's on the list, man, and I definitely want to, especially now we're doing vlogs. We need to have every location in the UK covered by our silly salmon riding.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a really good place, to be honest. And it's only 10 minutes away from my house.
Well, it's right. We'll be around for dinner soon, Jack.
Yeah, get the kettle boiling. We'll be around for tea as well. Well, while we're on that, though, when you do ride there every day, obviously you must know that place inside out. How do you not just kind of go through the same motions? How do you manage to progress in a place?
There's so many lines there. There's so many. You'll see when you go. There's you don't. It's such a big area as well. You can if you're a bit sick of one area, you ride the other area. So it's you just when I get there, I just decide which place I'm going to ride, and then I'll just stay at that area. You don't ride it all in one day. You ride bits of it. So you just break it down throughout the week. And
certain areas will be better for certain moves and etc.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff. There's a variation of everything in every bit of it, but there's certain bits what are bigger or smaller or on a hill.
Okay, So you're at Shipley again, Glenn. The weather's amazing. You're loving life. What's your favourite move? What's your go-to move?
Favourite move? I don't know.
Most satisfying, at least.
Lines there. There's loads of lines. I don't know, a big side up or something.
Yeah, or a big gap. Say anything
there's some
big.
big stuff. There's some big stuff there, like massive, bigger than me, a lot bigger than me.
And you're still doing new lines from what I've seen, even having ridden there for over 10 years.
Yeah, I'm still finding new stuff. And to be honest, we've moved a couple of rocks as well.
You get a telehandler there, or just everyone get together and lift it after the count of 3.
Everyone grab hold the end of it and pull. That's normally it.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Who at the moment then is kind of your favourite rider, or who's inspiring you to get out on your bike? It could be somebody you might ride with. What's funny is we usually ask who their favourite rider is, and they say you. A lot of people. So now I'm like, what happened to me ask Jack this question?
It's weird that, because I like loads of different riders. I don't know really. I don't really have like,
you don't get up every morning and watch Sergi's YouTube videos to get you going or anything.
No, I don't watch. I watch loads of videos though, like loads of every trials video. You could tell me one and I'll know it. And literally, I watch loads of stuff. But I don't really have a favourite rider. I just love trials.
All right, let's go with we're gonna have a favourite rider, because who at the moment are you riding with? Who's kind of getting you out on your bike? I mean, obviously you get on your bike on your own.
Yeah,
but
so I have a local lad. There's a local lad called Tom. He's been riding about a year and a half, and he's like really motivated to get better and better on his bike. And I ride with him. Nearly every day.
Someone that's really nice. So it sounds like a new rider, fresh to trials, and there's you, top of your game, teaching people at the very beginning still.
Yeah. I just give him a bit of advice and that. And he cracks on with it. He goes out without me, and I go out without with him as well. But if I'm about and he's about, we'll ride together.
Yeah, I found I've struggled to ride on my own. I know you could probably do it, and some other people. So it's like having that thing to vent with or ride with, and share your moves and how you're enjoying it, I think is super important.
To be honest though, at the moment is like Shipley's got a lot busier at the moment. So there's always someone up there riding Flip. You know Flip?
Yes. Yeah.
He's up there quite a lot.
Because he recently brought out a new video with Jamie actually as well, and there's some moves up there.
Yeah. So I've been riding with him quite a bit, but normally I don't really have anyone to ride with other than them people. So
or you bump into them at a location.
Yeah, normally I bump into someone and then we'll ride together. But I don't really ever ride alone though. I always have like my dad with me, or Charlotte and Miles come, because Miles rides his little bike. So I'm always got someone with me.
And how are you finding? So that I know there are some dads that are listening there. For those that don't know, Jack is a father as well. How do you find balancing your family and trials life? I can't relate, but I know some other people may want to hear that, or how that dynamic works.
Charlotte's really good, isn't she? So Charlotte's better than me. So I'm always riding and that, but Charlotte's always with Miles. Like she works, but not a lot. Well, she works 3 days a week. So, but we built her like a hair salon at our house. So
awesome! So she's working from home whilst. Oh, that's cool, man.
Well, when we're not in lockdown. Yeah. So she's always about, and so I just tie it in like that.
And how old's your little Miles now? How old is he?
He's 3. He's 3 now.
3 years old.
Yeah, it's mad.
Chatting away now, getting on his balance bikes and just getting on the 2 wheels now.
Yeah, that's it. So, but it's just balancing it, I suppose. Like he to be honest, he's a really good little boy, and he tags along with us when I go training and everything. And he's not really. He likes actually being out and about, so it's quite handy that he's like that.
And now we know that you you know, been riding you ride a bike every day, working towards your bike career. But what else might you do, Jack? You obviously don't just ride a bike. Is there anything else that you might do that's interesting? Maybe films, anything that isn't trials?
So I pretty much live my life around trials.
I mean, that's okay.
I absolutely live. No, honestly, I absolutely like live my life around trials. Like every day. Every day I live my life around it. I don't feel right. Like it's literally like I have to go ride every day. I generally feel like that.
And if you don't, do you have this kind of, oh no, I'm like losing it? Do you feel the pressure?
No. I don't have all like that. I used to have that.
Yeah.
No, I don't have that. But like if I haven't rode, I'm like bouncing off the walls, full of energy. I have to go burn energy. I can't sleep and stuff. So that's when the night runs start then.
Right, so you can't get the bike out because it's too dark. So you're like, screw it, get my running shoes on and sweat it.
I have an indoor spot.
Oh,
so I never can't ride. I can ride any day, anytime you want. I can ride.
So you actually could be getting up at 3 a.m. going, oh, I need to do a side up. Oh, I've got to get up.
Yeah, I don't often do that, but like if I wake up at 3 a.m, I'll go for a run or something.
That would be quite funny though. I can just picture there being what Jack's latest Insta, like, you know, those times when you wake up at 3 a.m, want to do a side up. You just get up out of bed. Charlotte's like fast asleep and goes into the barn or his shed and just quickly side ups and then gets back into bed. Like
that's why she thinks I'm like nuts, because I'm always like on it. You know, I don't have really a switch off button. I never have a day where I sit around the house.
Yeah.
Never.
No, that's good, mate. I mean, otherwise you didn't get anything done.
Yeah, I'm pretty on it. Like, but it's like a life. Like I say, it's like a lifestyle more than a sport to me. It's like I generally live that life.
Yeah, and I think to be at a certain point where you are, I feel that it has to be a lifestyle at that point. You can't.
Yeah, I think to keep getting better, you have to get more and more into it and live that way. I just bought a little camper van, so I'm going to start driving that around.
Yes, I did see that. A beast. Start living out of that and just driving from spot to spot.
That's like Charlotte's. Charlotte's always wanted one, and I've always been like,
And now you can, you'll be like, cool, family holiday, everyone get in the van. And actually, it's just you driving to a spot you want to ride your bike.
Basically, that's how I got around it. All family say, like, it's time for you. Like, I've never gone on holiday really and stuff with them, because I've always been riding. And now I'm like, well, we're going on holiday.
Yeah, because now I can take my bike with all my bikes.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, we're almost getting in good time there. Let's touch base on your trials a bit. I just wanted to quickly let everyone know, like, clarify who your current sponsors are now and going into 2021. What your future's looking like with your support.
All the sponsors?
I meant we know that you're a Krukers rider, but you have other support in the bike industry, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I ride for Orange Bikes as well.
Yeah, so you've got a deal with Orange. I know they've given you an e-bike. Yeah. You've got like a full sus bike and doing some trials on that, which does look like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then Schwalbe Tyres, Trial Tech, Trial World. I have a lot of partners.
Yeah, and recently Madison. Is that, I think Madison? Yeah.
Madison Clothing, yeah.
Yeah. I only know them from years of in the bike industry now. And
so what you're wearing now, aren't you, Jack?
Got Madison on now.
Yeah. Repping that clothes.
Yeah, I've got it on. But yeah, no, they're all good. They're all good sponsors, and to be honest, I'll be partnered with them for next 2 or 3 years.
That was my sort of question. Where's the journey going to go? Where's the long term?
Well, the Krukers deal, I have 3 years left signed with them, and then I'm sure we'll sign again. So yeah,
they're dominating the market a little bit. The bikes out there. I know he's putting his smile on his face, like, yeah, that's right. They are taking over slightly. I haven't haven't owned my own one yet, but maybe one day I'm sure it's going to happen.
Yeah, no, they're really good brand. Really good brand, and they're honest people. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not like.
There's a reason that a lot of people are riding them, and there's a reason why
Yeah.
most of the top riders are riding them. And,
Well,
and, you know,
it's like I think I've rode now for like 7 years now. 7 years I've been with
is
Crupers.
it that long?
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And
For some reason, I was
three-
thinking like 3 in my head, and I always like Crookers was
signed
so
for-
new to me.
I signed for 3 years, and then I signed for 7, and then there's 3 years left.
Oh, wow, I guess that time's just flown by for me, so I'm not even sure where we're at, what year it is now. Wow.
I think anyone knows what year it is. The year after 2020, you know, we're all still hanging in there, getting people back on the bikes.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not been terrible for the trial scene online, I suppose. Just keeping conversation, giving the riders a voice. I know there'll be hundreds of people, Jack, who've probably never heard your voice. Like they've seen you ride. Probably. So it was one of those things that it was just important to just have a conversation, let people know, look, he's a human. Like he's not Superman. He doesn't, you know.
No, it's true, yeah.
Yeah, just to realise that they can relate to you as another human being. But I think we're all good for time right there. Tom, have you asked all the questions that you?
Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Jack? Is there a message you want to get out to the trials community?
Just everyone keep going and keep enjoying it, and it's nice. It's nice to see that trials has picked up again. It definitely has, from what I'm seeing. Yeah, and it's really nice. I think so anyway.
I agree. Everywhere. No, you're right, Jack. Yeah.
And I think, I'm happy that everyone's getting out on the bikes and hopefully keeping people in a good mindset.
Yeah.
You know, it definitely keeps me in a good mindset. So I hope it does the same to everyone else.
Yeah. No, I think it's important and
wicked.
Keep the momentum going.
If you don't already follow Jack already, go check him out on Instagram. You've got some YouTube videos as well.
Yep.
There's Ali C put up a video of you, which is on YouTube. It's about 500,000 views, I think, on that now. It's mental.
Yeah, that's got a serious following there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it did well.
And
so it's just absolutely mind-blowing stuff. So definitely go follow. We've been here from the Shindig podcast. New episode comes out every Friday. Do check us out on YouTube, Instagrams, Facebook, wherever you get what you
give us a follow and a like, all that jazz.
Yeah, but we're for the love for the community, and thank you for tuning in.
Oh, there is one final question. Actually, the last question for Jack. Just to finish this off, mate, who would you want to see on the podcast? Personally, who would you like to see on the show?
Who would I like to see?
Can name anybody. Could even say Clayton.
Yeah. Who would I like to see? I like Kenny Blay, someone like that.
I'm waiting for someone to say it. He said it now, so if Kenny's listening, or somebody tells him.
We have got to go worldwide now as well. We have a much bigger reach than we thought we would. We started as a UK podcast, and we've had lots of global reach. So
yes.
If you can put us in touch, we'll have to give him a shout.
Yeah, I can help you with that.
Yeah, anyone now that believes we should have anyone else, please, let us know, because we will be branching into a worldwide reach, I believe now, having seen the stats and realised that people in Malta listening to us. So all over the place. Jack, you've been absolutely amazing, mate. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Jack. Yeah, thank you. There's a lot of bits here that I'm sure a lot of people are going to really enjoy listening to this episode.
Yeah, and
I definitely want to have a listen again.
It's only part one. We'll definitely do one perhaps in the future when the world's back to normal. Maybe we'll do a little visit, get to see your training area or something like that. But I'm sure we'll do an even more in-depth chit chat.
Yeah. You're always welcome here.
Yeah, mate. It'd be good to actually. I've always looked at that guy and think I just want to get in there just to film a couple lines so people know. Like, I know where that is. Yeah.
I've been.
Yeah, I've been there. Nice one, mate. Thanks again. Brilliant as always, mate. It was so good to chat to you and catch up. So enjoy the rest of your week and the rest of your day, and we'll speak to you soon, mate.
Thanks a lot.
Man.
Cheers, mate. Bye for now. Ciao for now.
Bye. Bye.
Ah, you